and this is Project Life. Project Life is a successful transition program being utilized by Honolulu and Central Districts. And today we're going to be talking with folks from the Outrigger Waikiki Beach. We're going to be hearing from Sean Huff from Project Life, Steve Miller and Victoria Tapisaria. I hope I said that right, Victoria.
Yes,
From the
that's
Outrigger
correct.
Waikiki. Yay. Okay. And then also we have Tim and Haley Parker. It's a dad and a student who've been through the program, and they're going to share their experiences with us. So don't let me stop you. Go ahead and take it away, team.
Okay, so as she said, my name is Sean Hoff. I am the Project Life Replication Coordinator at Butler Tech, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's an honor for me to be here to just share a little bit about the Project Life program and what it really means to young adults in that transition age as they begin to enter their adulthood. So what I want to share with you, just a little bit about programming today. So really, this is designed to be a comprehensive transition program. So it's a combination of classroom instruction provided through curriculum and then life skills education and authentic work experiences out on job sites to be able to prepare those students that do have disabilities for a future where they can be self-determined, self-confident, and be productive members of society and have a job. So when we think about our Project Life program, as Amanda had said, there are a few there in Hawaii. One of the big things that we really hold true is setting very high expectations. You know, a lot of times, and we'll allude to this a little later, but going through school, sometimes individuals with disabilities, we don't hold as high of expectations. And we want to flip that script, and we really want to hold them to a higher level because they absolutely will meet the expectations that we set before them. And then integrated in that, we do a work-based learning opportunity like I talked about for about 75% of each day. They are out on job sites with job coaches. And then there is a curriculum piece, and we teach all sorts of different content areas, which we'll go into here in just a couple minutes. And then team collaboration is critically important for any young adult as they make that transition into their adult life. It's important that not only the school works with the family's a vital part of that collaboration as well as the student, but then as any other agencies, whether it might be DD, Voc Rehab, all those partners are very important for the success of that individual. And then we do have 8 model fidelity components that are a part of our program that as we replicate across the country and people get involved in this, that really hold true to make sure that programming is done the way it is designed. So just a little, very brief about history. If some of you there have heard, I know there's Project Search programs in Hawaii. We have Project Search programs at Butler Tech. We started back in 2006. And then fast forward, we started realizing at Butler Tech that there was a gap. There was a skill gap for individuals as they were leaving high school, trying to get into Project Search. And so organically at Butler Tech, they developed this program called Project Life. And then if you fast forward, that was in 2007. Then if you fast forward to 2018, Project Search come to Butler Tech and said, hey, we really believe you're onto something because this is helping individuals in search be more successful. So why don't you look to replicate this? And at first, you know, as a public school, you don't look to replicate what you're doing. You don't look to go and try to spread it everywhere. You do what you do to take care of your kids. But at that time, they thought, you know what, there might be something to this. So they went to work and developed replication materials in order to try to share this across not only the state of Ohio, but around the nation. And then if we look at where we're at now, actually now we're in 2025, but we are sitting at 49 programs across the country and into Canada. And there in Hawaii, there are 3 different programs. And we'll hear about one specifically at Outrigger Hotel here just shortly. So a little bit about our curriculum or looking at the state standards that we align to. Obviously, we are an Ohio-based program, so we're going to align to everything that Ohio has in terms of learning standards. Outside of your core content, we're looking at technology, financial literacy, social emotional learning. And then as a career tech school, we have to make sure that we are embedding skills for the career field and making them ready for the workplace. So a lot of our things are focused on 21st century workplace readiness skills. In Ohio, we have a specific job training coordination program. And then as I did some digging and looking at Hawaii's career tech standards, very heavily aligned with the standards that are there in the state of Hawaii. And then national standards for all sorts of different life education, and then financial literacy, health standards, all those things as well. So really, when we talk about the curriculum, we are focusing in 3 different learning domains. We look at life at work, we look at life at home, and then we look at life in the community. All of us as people, we have our work life, we have our home life. And then that third place that we like to call it is our social life, where we're out in the community and doing things with our friends. And a lot of times, our population that we're trying to serve, once they graduate high school, some things fall off. So we are trying to teach them how to access their community, how to find fun things to do, how to get into social environments so they can participate. And throughout the curriculum, we have 8 different units of skills that we teach. And I won't read those off the screen, but you can see those there. So for instance, when we talk about safety skills, we are teaching safety skills at work, safety skills at home, and safety skills in the community, and so on and so forth down through that list. There are a total of 133 competencies throughout all those units and each of those learning domains that get taught throughout the course of, it can be multiple years in programming. So I alluded earlier to work-based learning opportunities out on job sites, for instance, the Outrigger Hotel that you all have there. So as our interns, that we call them, are out on those job sites, we are assessing their performance on the job. And we are data tracking and putting that into forms so that we can really track the growth that those individuals are having. And we track employment skills, or what a lot of us typically refer to as soft skills. Those things that where a lot of individuals may not keep a job, that they may lose jobs for these reasons. Attendance and punctuality, a big one. Having a good positive attitude, and how do you handle things, how to advocate for yourself, how to accept constructive feedback, and those sort of things. And then the actual skill of running a task, the performance on the job. So we're really looking at task initiation, the completion of those tasks, and then what's the quality of that task and how quickly, what's the pace, how quickly do they perform those tasks. And we combine all of that into a mathematical calculation that we look at. Hopefully, if we can get individuals really working well, we can get up to 100% of a weekly score. So those are weighted a little differently. Our soft skills are weighted at 60%, and our job performance are rated at 40%. And then, we really believe in risk taking. It is important. And any of us that are a part of this meeting, we've all had failures as part of our ultimate success in whatever we may be doing. So we do encourage risk taking. And so we love this term called dignity of risk. And it's the idea that self-determination and the right to take responsible risk is essential for your dignity and your self-esteem. And so, we allow our individuals to take risks, but we're going to make sure that nobody gets hurt, obviously. But it is important for them to take risks, because that's how we're going to learn. That's how we're going to grow. And then why is Project Life really good for individuals? It really gives participants in program time to mature and build their independence, increase their confidence. That is one of the absolute biggest things that I have watched students grow in. I'm a former recovering school superintendent, and I had replicated Project Life, and this was probably the area that our students grew the most, and that's just self-confidence. They're learning to regulate themselves, how to effectively communicate with individuals, practicing technical and soft skills, and they get to explore a variety of work environments. There are 3 different job rotations that we try to look at through the course of a school year, because we all know there's some things that we thought we might like to do, and then once we experience it, maybe not. So we do try to give them a multitude of work environments. That way we can try to hone in on what their skill set might really be. And then really becoming more self-determined for their future. And then it also gives them time to connect with the other agencies that may be supporting them, and then hopefully providing for a really good future for them and integrated employment. So I can speak all day long. I could talk to you for your entire transition fair here about programming and the benefits. But really, what I want to share is viewpoints from some of our interns and the experiences that they have had. So I won't share the whole video, but I will share a couple different sections of this. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video so you can hear from some of our interns.
Learned how to take criticism.
Work as a team and follow and the judges
how to know which item is better than other stores, because I never knew that, because I thought all the stores are the same price, but no, they're not. And I'm like, what? You kidding me? There are different prices.
I've learned how to excessively keep a job, and I also found a job that I like to work at.
I learned how to do sales tax and tipping.
I work here. I work courtyard. I like working at like Buffalo Wild Wings and doing like cooking and cleaning.
Like how much do apartments cost and condos when I didn't know condos and apartments cost that much. The first time I ever been to a workplace, it's very unique because I did not know how to process that in my mind, and it's learn how to self-advocate and do stuff that I never have.
The coffee shop and Sandmar.
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because it's really all about not only the experiences, but how do interns feel when they are a part of programming. So I'll share just a snippet of how some of our interns say this makes them
Like
feel.
shoes, so they won't slip and fall.
Just to have fun.
I feel happy too and perfect life. Honestly, it makes me feel happy because like I get to see my friends, my teachers. I get to learn new things. I get to experience new jobs. I get to make new friends, new memories. I get to impact other people without me realizing it.
It makes me feel like I've accomplished more than I thought and easier than I thought. But other than that, makes me feel pretty good.
I feel very happy, excited, and smile.
Kind of makes me feel important.
Being in Project Life makes me feel very awesome. Like it helps me. It really helps me a lot because I never been to a job site and never been experienced in the workplace.
Makes me feel happy.
So, nobody can talk about the experiences that they've had in programming better than the interns. And the beauty part of that little short video that I was able to share a couple parts of is that's completely unscripted. That is just sitting interns down asking those questions that you saw scroll across the bottom of the screen and their off the cuff responses, which warms our hearts, and knowing and being able to see them grow is so beneficial. So I will turn it over next to, I believe, Steve and Victoria may be following me. And I will stick around for just a short time if there are any questions as well.
Hi, aloha everyone. Happy to be here. I am Victoria. I'm the operations administrator at the Outrigger Waikiki Beach Resort. For the past 3 years, we've had the privilege of partnering with Project Life. And every year we've hosted at least 3 students at our property. And the students' primary role is working alongside our housekeeping department. They start by learning required skills that maintain our hotel standards, skills like learning how to vacuum the proper way, folding towels, making beds, and just understanding the different chemicals used for cleaning for various tasks. Over time, we've witnessed our students mastering these skills, which has also benefited the quality of service that we ourselves provide to our guests. So we're so thankful for all of their help every time. When I first met Haley, Rodney, and Colin, I remember them being very shy and very reserved, but as the program progressed, they began to show improvement in their social and their communication skills. They started initiating conversations with us, asking us questions, maintaining that direct eye contact that we didn't see on their first day. It's just been incredibly fulfilling just to see them become more confident and more independent. And I feel like this transformation and seeing them evolve in this way is largely because of Miss Patty's guidance and her support. She's done such an amazing job of incorporating our company's values into the lessons, the students' day-to-day activities. She teaches them to be personable, warm, aware, and proactive, which is our 4 keys to creating positive guest experience. And I feel that it has also helped the students build the meaningful connections with our hosts. Our host is what we call our employees at the property. So this partnership has been just rewarding, not just for the students, but for our whole entire team. And they've really become part of our Ohana, and we're really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Wow, great job, Victoria. Hi, Haley. So I'm going to talk about something a little bit different because Victoria did such a great job of summarizing the actual experience. I want to talk for a second for any of those of you that are thinking about embarking upon this incredible experience. And I've been in the hotel industry for 40 years. I've lived in 12 states, and I've had the opportunity to do many internships over my career. And what I've learned from that is before you embark and agree to create a partnership with your property, it starts with building a proper foundation. And so when this opportunity presented itself to Outrigger Resorts, our director of human resources sent a notice out asking if any hotels wanted to participate. So the first thing I did is I got together with my leadership team and we sat in a room and I talked about the importance of a partnership and what it means and the commitment that would be required for us to ensure a successful partnership. And without hesitation, every single one of our leaders was anxious and excited and supportive. So it starts there. And then when Victoria mentioned Miss Patty, the other most important critical is who's going to be the on-site person and what are their goals and expectations, so we understand in a partnership, not we know what we're going to get out of it. It warms our heart. It helps the property run. Victoria and I look forward to having lunch with the interns twice a week. It's the highlight of our week. But we needed to understand what Patty's goals were and that progression, so we could meet with our team and make sure that we are honoring our end of the commitment. And without a doubt, this is something we look forward to every single week, every single year. We're rounding up on our 3rd year now. And as Victoria mentioned, the progression, probably the coolest part, if there is one highlight, is that all throughout the year, the students are making a journal of their experience. They're taking pictures. They're engaging with all of our hosts and building relationships. And at the end of each school year, we have something called a lunch and learn, where we bring in all of our hosts. And at this particular one, the students get to create their own video of their experience. And they stand up individually in front of all of our hosts in a meeting room, and they present the video that they created, an individual video that speaks to their personality and experience. And that just warms our heart and just motivates us to continue to do more. So from Miss Patty to, I see Tim Parker on here with Haley. The parents are a big part of this. They come in at the beginning and we want them to know where their children are going to be working. And we invite them also to the end to see the progression. So I can't say enough about it. And that's really what truly makes a partnership. And we're very blessed to be part of this. Thank you.
Well, I guess we're next. I'm not sure if it's us or Patty, but I guess I can go ahead and talk unless someone else is going to step in.
Nope, it's all you.
No, it's you.
Thank you. Should Haley go first?
Either way, it's fine.
Okay. Why don't you start first, Haley, so you can get it off your chest?
Hi, my name is Haley Parker. I'm from Kaiser High School. Over the last 3 years, I've been training at the Outrigger. I've been learning about culture and value.
That's
The
fine.
Outrigger.
That's fine. Take your time. Culture and values.
Some of the things I learned is vacuuming, cleaning the walls, polishing the birthplace, and making the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to volunteer for beach cleanup, Yankee Ball throw, and hospitality walk. I enjoy my time at the Outrigger.
All right. Anything else you want to say? No?
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Haley. Thanks everybody. My name's Tim Parker, and as a parent, you know, it's always difficult to understand where your child's going to fit in the world, and you always embrace the various partners that provide opportunities and guidance. And you know, as I heard some of the familiar pitfalls and steps that were mentioned earlier in the meeting, it really resonates with some of the things that we've gone through and the benefits that we've gleaned from so many of these programs. And for us, you know, it was always hard to know whether or not we could trust Haley out on her own, whether or not she could catch the bus or walk to school or navigate one classroom to the next. And so it's always been something of an apprehension for parents, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, where you just don't know whether or not you can let go. And I think with this particular program, it was a great eye opener that gave not only Haley the confidence, but also gave us the confidence that we could trust so many other people, you know, with our child and young adult that could evolve. You know, initially the footsteps for her would have been being really shy, but having such a radiant personality. So the happiness that comes from her being around so many other people didn't awaken until she was able to bond further with Miss Patty and Victoria and Steve and the rest of their team. Um, Only then did she feel the gumption to uh, forge out with the bus on her own to catch a bus from Hawaii Kai to Waikiki, which for her was a big deal. For us, it was a big deal. We could barely get her to Kaiser, and we only live a mile away. So you can imagine how huge that was for us to let go and to give her that freedom. And it's something that didn't happen until she felt comfortable. And I think when we looked at what Sean had talked about earlier about confidence in what we try to imbue in our young adults. I think if you don't build the confidence with a strong team in the foundation that the Outrigger has established, you can't have fun because they don't feel confident. They don't feel like they can let go. They can't be their own person. And I think that's where the learning is most optimized. And many of you educators may find this to be true, is that you probably experience that in some capacity with the people that you deal with day to day. They got to feel confident in what they're doing, no matter what their age or this capacity. Once they're at that point, you create a culture that people want to be around, and it becomes a second home. And for Haley, that's what the Outrigger has become. She'd rather be there, I think, sometimes than at home, because that's where all her friends are. That's where the fun people are. They do special things there. The activities are just so welcoming. And I think when you're looking at trying to get them to do a job somewhere, worrying about the things we mentioned earlier about benefits, about some kind of medical or income, or what's going to happen when the parents are gone. You know, you kind of worry about all these little things, but being able to have a type of internship work-life transition like this is something that opens their eyes to so many different things, so many different people. And I think the difference between Haley walking in shy the first day with our, you know, with our hand, holding our hands, walking in. And I think the third or second transition graduation, when everybody in the hotel knew her name, she knew their name, you know, she knew where to go. We got lost. She was helping us get through the place. That kind of stuff is just amazing. And I guess on a personal note, that, you know, we struggle with IEPs and vocabulary and math and all these little things for the many years at school. But one of the things that I noticed is that her vocabulary as an adult has just been expanded by the interaction she's had with the individuals at the hotel, the various guests, and also dealing with her counterparts. It's really surprising to me when we're having conversations that she just drops some of these $4, $5 words that I didn't expect her to use. And I know that comes from her peers and the people that she works with. They're trying to push her, right? The expectation is high. And for her to rise to that level is something that, as a parent, I'm really proud of her and the team that works with her. I mean, I can't say enough about it. So I know that a lot of parents have apprehension like me, and I had the opportunity to talk with some of them in person. But I think that as we go forward, I encourage the team to, you know, continue to think creatively, and the patience is immense. And I think the little things that you guys do really drive the confidence so that, you know, many of these young adults can have fun. And, you know, I think there's nothing more I can say about it other than that I hope it keeps going. I hope that you guys, I wish you guys all the best of luck. I know that there are a lot of candidates out there that would really benefit from the program. Would like to see, you know, of course, I'm sure you guys too would like to see that expand to other properties and other businesses. So, you know, I'm even trying to look at and see if something I can do with my business. You know, it's funny that the culture, I'll say this last thing, the culture of a company is really hard to instill in someone. And I run a team of 130 people, and some of them are veterans, and I still have veterans, meaning they've been with us for over 20 years. And it's really hard to try to build that kind of culture over time. And I think that the team has done that in a very short period of time with Haley, embracing a lot of the things that you've taught her. So I want to say thank you. I'm really grateful for a lot of the things that you guys have done, to Steve, Victoria, and Patty, and all the things that come with it. Thank you very much.
And thank you guys for sharing. We have a short video here that we want to show of Haley and her team working. And so let me see if I can get that rolling for us here. That was awesome. Haley, I saw your great big smile in there, and I saw that you put a lot of that video together. Well done. It's really well done. Thank you. Okay. Does anybody have questions for Haley and Tim, or for Project Life, or for the Outrigger? I see in the chat here, there was somebody asking how they get their kiddo enrolled in a program like this. And Sean answered, to enroll, you should start with having a conversation with your school. That's a good place to start. You can always reach out to ask them to talk to Honolulu District and Patty, who's helped to create it here in Honolulu. Central District is also working with Project Life, so there's a couple projects up there as well. But that's a good way to get started, is talk to your team, your IEP team, your transition team, and have them start making some phone calls and conversations for you. There's another question here in the chat from Beverly. How do you determine what project an intern can do, since every person has different disabilities and physical disabilities? Does anybody want to answer that? How do you
So
determine?
I can jump in and share a little bit there. The statement is very accurate. Every individual that has a disability is very unique and individual to themselves. And the job sites, when we look at, I couldn't go into great detail, but when we look at job sites, we're trying to provide those entry level employment skills, because those are the things that they're going to need to get out there. And we do have, you saw a very, very short clip of a young lady that we have that's in a wheelchair, nonverbal, a lot of different things going on. But she is she is our cashier at our coffee shop and uses her assistive technology to communicate with patrons that come up and buy coffee. And she is phenomenal at that job. So you're really looking at each individual's abilities and what job sites do you have, because the job sites are kind of done ahead of time, so that you can solidify those partnerships and really look at what can we as Project Life programming do to help at Outrigger. And so those things are kind of planned out ahead of time, but you just never know what individuals are capable of until they try. And then have them try to work through some things themselves. They will always surprise you. And they are able to find ways to problem solve on their own. So it is unique to every situation. But you just have to kind of work with the staff at the school, the staff at the business to try to figure out what will work well.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much for the team Project Life. That was a great presentation. Again, if you want more information, go talk to your team, your IEP team, your transition teachers, or give a call to Patty and see if she can get you connected as well.